Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
I think my wife may have cheated over 4 years ago. I don't know how to find out or move past it. I need to mention, I created the throwaway account before I saw the rule here about how to label it. I'm sorry, mods, please don't remove this. I think my wife may have cheated on me years ago, but I have no idea how to find out or move past it. I have been contemplating posting this for nearly a year now. I couldn't decide how to express it or how to not sound paranoid. But basically, my wife and I have an okay marriage now. But around 5 or 6 years ago, we were going through a pretty rough patch, and divorce came up quite a few times. Much of it was my fault. I had become distant emotionally, and I had made a couple financial decisions without consulting her. She had also become a bit verbally abusive. The past couple years, we have done counseling and been more intentional in restoring our relationship. So here is the issue. Not long after our relationship hit that rough patch, I started having a gut feeling that something was going on. I was suspicious of her relationship with her coworker, but really the gut feeling told me it could be anyone. I spent nearly a year just ignoring it, because I didn't want to be that stereotypical paranoid husband. But when it never went away, it began to hit me that my gut feelings about things have been 99% true most of my life. So I started to observe her. Here are a few things I noticed. She didn't lock her phone, but she was constantly using a security browser that she cleared every time she sat her phone down. She took a long time to get home from work. I wrote this off initially because her route home is one of the worst in our area, but it still began to feel like it often took nearly 30 minutes more than the worst possible traffic scenario. She became much more private with her belongings. We had never really had a problem with letting each other look through drawers and bags to find things. This suddenly became a big invasion of privacy for her. She was very insistent on being friends with this guy from work. Any mention that they may be too close was just waved away with a generic, no physical attraction comment. I found out at one point that this guy's wife had cheated on him. She found reasons to go out in the evening way too often, and would take twice as long as she should. I didn't want to say anything because I really don't want to be a controlling husband, but it was really starting to bother me. Sex changed. We were both virgins when we got married. It made it fun to learn things together, and it had always seemed pretty satisfying to her. Around this time, she stopped trying, and nothing I did really seemed to do it for her. It made me wonder where she could have gotten something better that I could be expected to live up to. I could also swear there was a physical change down there, but it's hard to say for sure. She became less innocent. This is hard to explain, but we were both fairly sheltered growing up. But she started using words that I literally had to look up. Many of them were sexual. There were some other things that were more specific. There was a minor holiday that she had off and I didn't. I ended up getting off early anyway, and I rushed home to surprise her. She was very thrown off by this. Not mad, but clearly something on her mind. She barely said anything for several minutes. Then I noticed she was peering very intensely into our backyard, then to her phone, then back to the window. After a few minutes of this, she got a look that I could only describe as relief and started talking to me more freely. But she still didn't seem thrilled to have me there. There was one point that we had been almost completely sexually inactive for a spell. Lots of fighting. We only had one bathroom, so I went in to brush my teeth while she was showering. The curtain was pulled back, and I couldn't help but notice she had groomed her pube hair. Not entirely shaved, but she had shaved most of it into what I learned later is called a landing strip. I love trying new things with her, but this clearly wasn't for me. We had never even talked about sexy grooming like that other than a complete shave. At the moment, I thought maybe she was going to try to revive our sex life soon, hence the new sexy grooming. Nope, not even close. No intention whatsoever of having sex with me soon. This one is more difficult to explain, but I'm pretty observant of facial expressions and verbal influxes. I have always enjoyed detecting things with people that they didn't verbally reveal. It makes me good at a lot of party games and a decent salesman. Whenever infidelity comes up in conversation without warning, usually with friends talking about their spouses, her face changes for a brief second. It's difficult to define, but it's an expression that usually implies a suppressed thought. Usually she makes that face with a friend. I'll hear about something later when we're alone that my wife knew but didn't say. But when it's about cheating, she never brings anything up later. She also once had a slip that could have been Freudian. This was within the past year. We were talking about my SIL who had cheated on her husband. I told her about my view of cheating. How if she cheated on me, I likely wouldn't divorce her. But I then explained how the loss of that innocence in our relationship would change how I value her. Perhaps this is harsh, but that's not the point. When I finished, she started to tell me how she disagreed with that mentality, then said, "I'm just afraid that when you find out, I mean, if I cheated on you and you found out, maybe that's nothing, but it felt really weird to me. There were many, many other minor things, but there is no reason to try to get them all out here. My issue is any one of two of these things can be ignored, but statistically, at what point do you stop asking what the odds are that she cheated and start asking what the odds are that she didn't? Combine that with a gut that I have always trusted, and I feel more confident every day that there is something that I don't know about. Problem is, I don't get the feeling that it happened within the past couple years, maybe more. Things are going pretty good now, but the trail is cold. I doubt I can find anything suspicious. This was probably 5 years ago, but I just can't shake it. Don't know what to do. There are probably people that would tell me to just move on if things are okay now. I tried, but I can't shake it. I mean, I stayed faithful if she didn't. I feel the right to know. What do I do now? Is there still a way to find out? Is there a way to get over this on more note? Based on a friend's advice, I did try talking to her about it. I didn't bring up all the specific things I mentioned here. I don't like sounding crazy, but I told her about my general suspicion and feelings. She took it kindly, but also brushed it off with I would never cheat on you. When I later asked her if we could talk about it more, she got upset and defensive and ended my inquiries with a suggestion about how people that are suspicious of cheating are often that way because they cheated. I don't know if that's true, but it made me realize I couldn't continue asking her without massive backlash. Update 1. So, I have been on Reddit long enough to know the social trade-off on these things. I get free advice from people from all sorts of backgrounds, and y'all have the right to expect updates on my situation. I knew that when I posted this, and it feels completely fair to me. That said, please don't be on the edge of your seats. I'm going to take my time with this. Most of y'all say she definitely cheated. This is exactly what I came here for, to confirm I'm not crazy. Thank you. Here are the main ideas I'm seeing. Dump her. Thanks, and I respect your opinion. I think if I get her to confess, but she chooses to blame me, I'll get rid of her. Or if it turns out this has happened more than once and wasn't just a mistake she wasn't prepared for. Otherwise, I am capable of more forgiveness than that. Ambush her of the bluff. I actually really agree with y'all on this. I think if she did cheat, this would likely work. But some of the best advice on this thread is to first think about what I want the end result to be. The results of doing this would almost certainly be negative. I think I want to try a more positive approach. I am a doormat. Maybe, but that's my own business. It was in the past, leave it alone. Maybe, but if I can't get rid of these feelings, I'll need some kind of closure, confront her of the counts of a present. This is what I'll probably do. I intend, as one Redditor suggested, to make a long list of everything that points to cheating and bring it to the meeting. I do love her. I want her to simultaneously feel guilty enough and safe enough to confess. Depending on how that goes, I may or may not keep her. But I feel like this has a better chance of turning out positive. I really appreciate everyone that posted here. I needed confirmation that I wasn't crazy and real-life advice on how to proceed. Even those that called me a doormat or similar. Sometimes I need comments like that to man up a little, so thank you. I have a couple other places that I thought of to look for evidence, but whatever happens, it will likely be a while before a real update. Thank y'all again. Update. I think my wife may have cheated over 4 years ago. I don't know how to find out or move past it. This is going to be very disappointing to most of you, but I owe you all an update, so here it is. I'm still with my wife. I still think there is a good chance she cheated on me. Mathematically, it's very likely. I agree with everyone here that says it's obvious. Also, there's the fact that I've also found out that my 2 sister-in-laws cheated on my brothers. Does it run in my fucking family? Are all women just sluts and some keep it more under wraps than others? I don't know what the hell to think without actual evidence, however. My options are to stay with her and just hope I'm wrong or divorce her for no legally verifiable reason in an at-fault conservative state and run the very real risk of losing everything financially and likely losing my children to her as well. I'm in a situation that can't be won. Maybe I'll realize one day that I was just being an idiot and she is completely faithful. Maybe something will eventually come to light, but I feel like I've exhausted all my current avenues for finding evidence. It was just too long before I started looking. There's nothing more to do. This fucking sucks, but I'm stuck with it.